Hello. Uh, Welcome back. Trim Back Podcast, episode 4. Thank you for your patience in, waiting for another episode because last week was pretty hectic, to be honest, and the week before was even more. There's been a bit going on, both personally and professionally. So I was away last weekend up in Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and we were pretty busy. So also just with the nature of what I'm talking about, I don't really want it to be something that I feel like I'm going to be forcing. I want the conversations to be authentic and vulnerable, and it's really important to sort of make sure you're in a mindset to be able to sort of do that. I didn't really feel like that was the case the last couple of weeks. So thank you for your understanding. Thanks for your support still. And I'm very grateful for those that are listening and for their awesome feedback. And if you're listening, reach out, let me know. If you got any feedback, I'm more than happy to listen. If you're enjoying it, if you're hating it, if you think the audio quality sucks, if you think the content sucks, if you think the content's great, let me know. Let's get some dialogue going. It's been a really, really rewarding journey being able to share this, and I feel like I'm able to really be in a position to do it. Today I want to talk about the journey I took to get sober, and that was something that took a long time to sort of get okay with. I talked in the last episode about the realization that I had that I was an addict, and was having lots of issues with smoking a lot of weed, and my relationship with alcohol was pretty complex. And today I wanted to talk about what it was like when I started to take my journey to getting sober, and what that sort of looked like and what those emotions felt like. Because it certainly was complex. It wasn't straightforward. It wasn't just one day you stop, you put everything down and you just can live without. There certainly is a part of it where you do need to go without and you just stop. But the array of emotions that you feel are very, very complicated. I think the hardest thing for me getting sober was experiencing things for the first time in a long time that I would normally have either been under the influence of alcohol or marijuana, and experiencing them sober for the first time. The things that were really difficult were when you're around mates and they were drinking casually and, having a good time, and I still hadn't come to terms with the fact that I was a little bit different and that I couldn't, that my brain was a bit silly, and that I couldn't be the same, and that's hard. That's a lonely feeling. That's a sobering feeling. That's I don't feel great about the person I am, and there's not really much I can do about it. What I really can remember, there was one day where Nat and I went to a Hottest 100 party with a couple of her mates that I knew and, but there were a lot of people there that I'd never met, and they were getting pretty rowdy and having a very merry time, enjoying their day. And I was finding it really challenging in that environment, knowing that I couldn't, knowing that it would have been easier for me to get pretty drunk and be a lot more social and be involved, and the fact that I felt like I couldn't was really challenging, and that I wasn't going to. We then left there, and we were supposed to go out for another mate's birthday that night, a different group of friends, and we were supposed to go to, I think, Garden State Hotel or something like that. And I just knew my bandwidth was done, and that was a really hard thing because I had to say no, and it was sort of the first time of many that I realized that like my decisions had a lot of impact on myself, but also the people around me, and that sort of decision making process sort of changed between like, okay, balancing looking after myself, making sure that I'm okay, maintaining relationships, and balancing both of those of what my expectation is of myself and the person that I want to be, but also living up to expectations and maintaining relationships of friends and family and that sort of thing. And what I've found is that I think that these things will upset people if you say, no, this isn't for me. But so many people are really, really understanding, and they go, man, I'm so proud of you. That's really brave. Good on you for knowing your limit. And that's been something that's been really surprising almost about my decision to specifically stop drinking and to quit smoking weed. Because in your head you go, oh geez, you're such a pussy. Like you cannot operate the same way that other people do. You are so weak and whatever. But from the outside, people look at it and they go, geez, that's so brave. That's so strong. That's unbelievable to have the discipline to be able to say no to these things. And, over the time, it has gotten a lot easier. I remember having days where, 100, 150, 200 days sober were really hard. But now I'm well over 500 since I smoked weed. Over a year since I drank. And, it's not that hard anymore, man. Like it really isn't. I've told myself what my goal was, that I wanted to go the full calendar year without drinking, and as we approach the end of the year, I am thinking about what things will look like and whatever. But man, like if I don't want to behave in the way that that doesn't feel right, I know that through this journey I've had the discipline to be able to say no to things, and that's something that I'm okay with now. I know what my limit is. If people say, why aren't you drinking? Or like people want me to do things, like I only do them if I want to do them. And that's what I've learned a lot over the past sort of year and a half of undertaking these this big period of sobriety. My mind feels so much clearer. My thoughts are so much more in depth and more in control, and I feel so much more in control of what I'm doing and who I am, and I'm a lot closer all the time to the person that I want to be, and the behaviors that I feel like match my goals. as I approach, the new year, I don't know what it's going to look like. I think about, like, okay, what's it going to be like when I have a drink again? But I know in my heart of hearts that after all this time, that if I have a drink and I don't like it and I don't like the person I am, I know I can stop. And I'm comfortable never having a drink again. But I'm also comfortable now, a lot more comfortable in the fact that I have the willpower and context and knowledge and self-discipline to know my limits a lot better. I know that anxiety for me is really real and that I can spiral out of control, but also, like, with the work that I've done over the past 5 years, that these, like, lingering traumas and anxieties and depressive episodes, I have the capability to be able to deal with them as they're sort of coming and going. I also know not to feed them. So I feel a lot more in control of it. I look from the outside and I see people, having a bad week and going, I just want to have a couple of drinks to relax and whatever. And it's hard to sort of see that and go, like, oh, do you really need that? And sort of judging other people's decisions. But it's just something that each person has their own needs, and doing what they do is absolutely fine. There's no judgment at all to other people in the way that they behave. I want people to be happy around me, and if that's something that they enjoy doing and they makes them feel good and there's not big repercussions, then good on them. Good on them. I just want to accept people for the way that they are, the same way that people accept me, and that's been something that's been really surprising, to be honest, because I thought that a lot more people would care more deeply that I wasn't in a negative way, whereas people have either not cared or cared in a positive way of why. And that's something that I'm really proud of. I plan on, in the next episode that is going to drop next Monday, exploring more about my relationship with alcohol, which is pretty complex, but I'm really proud of the journey that I've made being sober. Made a lot of progress on this sort of stuff, and I'm still just taking it one day at a time, and maybe one day I will decide that I want to have a glass of champagne or a beer with my mates or a glass of wine with dinner or whatever, but until that day comes, like, I'm still just each day as it comes. As 2025 rolls closer, I'm sure that I'll have the information and decision making that will make me feel a bit better about the decisions that I'm going to make and the behaviours that I'm going to partake in. But thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you're following, great. If you're not, please do leave a review. Follow us on Instagram, TrimbackPod, Shahi the Barber. If you care about haircut content, that'd be cool. But yeah, thank you for supporting me, and it means the world to me. So